I'm back. It's your boy Grimlock in the building. Welcome to another episode of Stay Woke TV. My bad I haven't been here in the last couple of days, man. I've been sick, y'all boys. Turns out, after the great show, coming home thinking I was going to be scot-free, only to realize, nigga, I'm sick as a motherfucker. I'm beyond sick. I'm as sick as you can get, man. I got the flu or something. I should have known being around all those people was gonna come back to haunt me. So I'm sick, chat. Like I'm only gonna be able to stream for like an hour and a half, but I said there's no way that I was gonna leave. I was gonna go a whole nother day without streaming. I said, bro, it's been like 7 days. The longest I ever took off. I was supposed to be back. I was supposed to be on here 4 days ago. Yeah. Thank y'all for being here. Once again, I'm your host, Mr. DJ Grimlock. This is Stay Woke TV. Let's get to work.
Japanese naval forces on their way to Taiwan not to intervene. Anyway, they ignore this warning and head to Taiwan. But before the United States and its allies could respond to Taiwan's desperate pleas...
Oh, sorry. Let me move this out the way. See, I'm so... don't even know what I'm doing. I'm telling you, look. I'm all disshuffled. It's like I forgot how to stream. Chat, my body's so weak that it's not even gonna be easy to do this hour and 30 minutes. But I had to come here and be like, nah, we're not gonna miss it another day. Enough's enough. But I will be streaming here again tomorrow morning, and we'll be hopefully being able to get back to our 4-hour/8-hour streams.
Taiwan had to handle the situation.
Oh man.
Taiwan's military launches waves of missile strikes on the Chinese ship. China is
I'm
waging...
not even gonna listen to music tonight because I feel like I'm just so out of it right now, like tired. I'm wearing one of my old Chipotle shirts. Y'all know I used to work at Chipotle? One of my first jobs. Long time ago. But chat, I'm so tired, bro. My body is weak. I thought I was gonna be streaming here 2 days ago, chat, but I've been sick since I came back from Rolling Loud. Great show, by the way. They did a great job. I don't know if somebody's watching my stream, but keep on doing it, man, because they fucking did everything I damn near told them to do. They fucking genius. That's what you do. Great shows. Kodak did great. We're going to do a whole recap of the whole Rolling Loud. We'll do that tomorrow, man. Tonight, just chill. We're just going to chill, bro, because I can't do anything physical activity. Chat, I've been sweating all day. My body's weak.
Something called gray zone.
I should have known when I was in Rolling Loud, right? And the dude was begging me to hit the joint. So I let him hit the joint. As soon as he passed it back, I just said, bro, keep it. But I said, bro, I'm going to end up getting sick. Even though I let that nigga keep the joint, I still got sick.
Warfare against Taiwan.
No, I swear, bro. I told that nigga keep the joint, bro.
China has been using this strategy not only with Taiwan, but with
at that point, I had like 20 joints.
The country in the South China Sea, and almost all of its neighbors. In fact, the strategy turned out to be such a massive success that China literally snatched many regions and islands of multiple countries without firing a single bullet. For example, in 2012, China snatched control of Scarborough Shoal Atoll from the Philippines. China even tried to snatch the Whiteson Reef, a Yungan Shoal Reef, and multiple other islands too. And it didn't stop here. From 2013 to 2015, China built artificial islands and even built military installations on 7 coral reefs it has illegally occupied in the Spratly Islands in the South China Sea. Considering the success of gray zone warfare, China has doubled down on the strategy, using it not only in the South China Sea, but also with countries it shares.
Sorry, chat. This is gonna be like the worst stream ever, bro. I can already tell. My throat's killing me. Great show, though. Great show. Kodak, I don't know what people talk about. Kodak did great. I think Kodak did absolutely amazing. Classic Kodak. I don't know what y'all expect. I don't know. Kodak's not Playboy Cardi, bro. He doesn't come on stage to be Playboy Cardi. When you come in to see Kodak, you're just coming there to just enjoy all the hits this nigga made. So, shout out Kodak. I can't believe it's the longest I ever not streamed, bro. That shit crazy. Huh? A new Lord of the Rings.
Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, and in this video, it's the Return of the King.
Oh, this is the old.
Not talking about myself there, but this is the third and final part of our Lord of the Rings breakdowns. Throughout
This nigga's breaking down Lord of the Rings. You know how old that movie is? Damn, that movie came out in 2003? Yeah, chat. As soon as I'm freaking done with this this cold flu, whatever this thing is, then we definitely gonna do a recap of all the performances in Rolling Loud. I seen a lot of them. There was a lot of good ones. Von 1700 was good. Lil Shimmy, you guys know I love him. Rick Ross was pretty good too. Even though it was funny, the nigga played Rick Ross played 4 songs. Drake was on it. I was like, what? How you beefing with a nigga? He's on 4 of your major hits. That's crazy. I think that's hilarious. What else can I say? Playboy Cardi stole the show. I heard academics talking about Kodak and how he came out high, and shit like that. Man, when I tell y'all boys, that nigga Travis Scott had to bring out 3 helicopters to get people to leave Kodak show. Let me repeat. After he came with 1 helicopter, everybody was still at the Kodak show. It's Florida. We love Kodak. They love Kodak. That nigga came with a helicopter. People still at the Kodak show. That nigga came out with 3 helicopters. Yeah, them niggas went. I ain't gonna lie. After they realized Kodak was really fucked up like that, yeah, this nigga's high as fuck. After they realized that, then they finally left. But nigga, the man was performing. Actually, let's keep it a buck. This was the smallest Travis Scott crowd I ever seen. I said it. Chat, I don't care. I said it. The smallest Travis Scott crowd I ever seen. But it's not even Travis Scott's fault. Kodak was taking half of the damn people was still at the Kodak show. I promise you, only at the end of the Kodak show did people leave. There was 3 helicopters in the sky at Travis Scott's show. But still, half of the people that's supposed to be in the Travis Scott show is literally at watching Kodak on the other side of on a whole different stage. I said, damn, Kodak, bro. You're fucking loved down here. We fucking love you, nigga. I couldn't believe it. And he's high as fuck out of his mind. He don't even know what's going on. But he's so loved. His music is so much loved. Let's just keep it real. Travis Scott, you know, Utopia was good, but it's been 2 years, man. And for some reason, them saying there's only so many times you can play the party never ends. What's starting to get annoying with the Travis Scott shows, and it's not Travis' fault. Travis used to switch it up, but it doesn't seem like he switches it up that much no more. He does only his new music. But I'm like, all right, Travis, bro, you kind of have a lot of hits. You can go to the back. Like, Travis Scott used to do a show, like, I would call this show Welcome to the Rodeo show. I'll call this show what's that one show he did with Quavo and Honcho. I'll call this show the Young Thug and Travis Scott show. Now it just seems like it's Utopia. And not that I don't like Utopia. Utopia is good. It's great actually. It doesn't age as well as his other music. I definitely felt like that. This was the first ever time, and I've been to Travis Scott shows for, you guys know, since 2015. We've been going to Travis Scott show. Matter of fact, I went to go see Astroworld 5 times. We all know that. It's 5 to 7 times. I watched it 3 times in Florida, 1 time in Orlando, so 4 times in Florida, and 1 time in Philadelphia when I went to go see Juice WRLD. Back in those days, he used to switch up his music. I'm going to play this show, I'm going to play this mixtape, or I'm going to do this show. Now it's just, I'm going to play these set shows. I'm going to play these set 5, 6 songs. And those songs just, it's not that they're not aging well. You're starting to almost see what Travis Scott's going to do before he performs it. So that's kind of not good. Each Playboi Carti performance seems like its own performance, which Travis Scott used to do too, but it's gotten to the point where we've heard these songs and seen this set too many times. The set has to be switched up. You know who does good with this? Drake does good with this. Drake plays a lot of, I would say, songs that you would not say is mainstream, but he knows the women's gonna know that song. And he knows, damn, the women's gonna love this song. And he's gonna do this one, and then this show, he's gonna be like, all right, let me play a whole bunch of shit I made with Lil Yachty. Oh, I'm in Atlanta, let me play some shit that I made with 21 Savage. Like, gotta switch it up. Travis Scott, we love Travis Scott so much. We seen the set over 100 times. Imagine you're listening to a rapper and you know his next 3 songs he's gonna play. Like, song by song, you know exactly what he's gonna play. Not bad, still great. But I'm starting to notice Travis either got to drop a brand new album and start performing those songs, or, you know, he got to switch it up. He can't just play Utopia songs. He could, but I feel like the show could be better, bro. It's better when Travis Scott is playing, when you don't have no idea what he's gonna play. You'll be like, "Oh shit, Floyd Mayweather! What the hell? He played this?" I used to like the going to shows and seeing the mystery of what they gonna play. I remember one time Kodak played "If I'm Lying, If You're Flying." I was like, "Oh my god, I love this song." I never in a million years thought he was gonna play this song. He played it. One of my favorite Kodak songs, by the way. I would have loved to see a Young Thug pop out. I really thought that was gonna happen. A Young Thug pop out would have been cool. I don't remember seeing Lil Tyler. He wasn't out there this year. I don't think he was. Okay, and oh, I heard another thing. Academics has said that Kodak gets like 180,000 for Miami Rolling Loud. I'm here to tell you, yeah, that's not true. Supposedly, this is what I've heard from multiple people. Supposedly, Kodak gets paid very well when it comes to Rolling Loud. Very well. And Kodak's a big name from Rolling Loud. When it comes to people that headliners, the people that comes right under the headliners, that's where Kodak is. He's not the headliner. He literally could be a headliner. But we don't think he's going to take it serious. So we'll give him the spot right below the headliner. And for what I hear, you know them boys who made Rolling Loud is from Florida. And they fuck with Kodak. And I hear they pay him very handsomely. I don't know the amount, but I hear it's very handsomely. Very handsomely. I'm not saying he's getting headline numbers, but I hear he's getting paid. Matter of fact, he even said it one time himself. Them boys pay him like he's headlining. But he don't headline. Just something to think about. I don't know if it's millions. I just know it's probably more than what we think. Because I've heard it from Kodak's, and I've heard it from them boys they said themselves. Them boys actually came on. I don't know where they went. Maybe it was, forgot where the fuck I found them boys. Them boys came on somewhere. The dudes on Rolling Loud, and they were talking about, oh yeah, they love taking care of Kodak and shit like that. So I think it's more money than we think. That's all I'm saying. Any other standouts that I can think of? Not really. We got to do a little bit better with the timing of some of these people. Some of these people, like Vise. Come on, Vise is Vise is better than 4 p.m. Like, he should have been somewhere at 7 o'clock, somewhere 6 p.m. at this point. Was there Young Nudie? Yeah, there was Young Nudie. I don't think I got to see him. I think I wanted to. Who else? Who else was a standout? Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not surprised Kodak got the chain. It's funny because Academics is like, he's like, no, Kodak can't come. He's barely doing something. Kodak won the chain of performer of Rolling Loud this year. Y'all don't even know that. Yeah, he won the chain. They gave him the chain. And I'm here to tell you who did the best the whole Rolling Loud? Playboy Carti. I ain't gonna lie. Number 1. But right under Playboy Carti, the Kodak show was the best. The energy, man. The Kodak show is the best, man. I don't know. You don't go to Kodak show to hear him freaking harmonize on the beat, singing with his voice. No, he's really just supposed to just do exactly what he does. Sit there with a jacket, spark of black. Don't rap for 3 songs. I love when I see the people like, what's going on? I'm like, huh, I see. Y'all thought Kodak was Chris Brown? What the fuck? That nigga ain't Chris Brown. Matter of fact, I was like, that's a great Kodak show. I guess I'm the only one here. That was a great show. All right, trust me, it was a great show. The whole time, they're playing Kodak and Friends. Nigga, the whole time they're screaming, Kodak, Kodak, Kodak. It got so bad that the Friends had said, it's okay, guys. Kodak's coming soon. Relax. And then Kodak came. And he did his thing. He didn't do much. But when it comes to Kodak songs, you don't have to do much. I promise you, you don't. You hear the beat, KKK. Young nigga, I got old cats dancing on the ass. Oh my, that's enough. That's why he can just hit the black. That's why Playboy Cardi can just chill and be like, and just yell. I told my God to tell 10 blunts for me. Yeah. That's it. Cause really, it's the energy. It's the energy people looking for when it comes to performance. And not everybody's energy is the same. If you seen Kodak acting like Playboy Cardi, you think freaking Kodak's even more crazier than he already is? That's not his style. That's not his swaggo. That's not the way he do his thing. His fan base like the old shuffling jacket, you know, looking like he's freaking out of his mind, sparking a black and mild, putting on 3-4 chains to take them off and put 2 more chains on. Like, damn, classic Kodak. I thought it was a great show. I thought it was a great show. I'm waiting for the day they let Kodak headline. It's gonna come eventually. I'm amazed how Kodak song ages. Kodak songs age the best out of anybody's songs. Playboy Cardi and Kodak Black songs age great. They never, even some of 21 Savage songs, I'm kind of getting like tired of playing it. Like, nigga, this shit is old. Every time I listen to Kodak, I never say that. Like, no, I can listen to Super Gremlin any day. I can listen to freaking, Skrilla every day. Tunnel Vision any day. Those are fucking hits. That's classics. They jam anywhere. Anywhere they gonna jam. You seen the one video where the Scottish guy was just doing the skipping. He was doing the skipping. Play some money sign. Consequences. Bro, you know damn well we can't play none of that on YouTube. We on YouTube right now. We can't play no music. But I'll play music. I'm playing music tomorrow though. You got add me on Twitch. Oh man, chat, this cold is killing me. I want to listen to music so bad, but I ain't got no energy. And we on YouTube. But yeah, like I was saying, Playboy Cardi songs age well. Even his old songs age well. With a band, without a band, it sounds good. He didn't have a band when he came out. He still sounded great. Yeah, I'm chilling. I'm chilling. What else can I think about? Kodak, he did great. He don't have to do much, man. Kodak don't have to do much, y'all boys. He really don't. And Von off on 1700 did great. Who else? Oh, Babyface Ray. I almost forgot. Babyface Race was good. I seen a little bit of Shaq West. I don't know why was Shaq West so late. It's almost like the Ragers are taking over Rolling Loud, and I'm like, oh no, let's be careful. We came here to have some music. Next year we gotta make sure we have a couple more. We need a Wiz Khalifa. We gotta remember, like, this is Rolling Loud. You know, we gotta have some reggae bands or something. We can't rage all day. You want people to die? 2 p.m. you be out there talking about raging. Money sign, the Mexican Kodak Black. Yeah? Let me play one thing. That just got me thinking about it. All right, never mind. I can't find it. Anyway, yeah. So that was it. Great show. I'm freaking sick. You know. I mean, obviously it came from Rolling Loud, all those damn people. But you know, it is what it is. And I look forward to next year. Any other standouts that I can think of other than that? You could see the stage. That was good. The Some of those dudes, I ain't gonna lie. Some of these dudes, they shouldn't have been on stage. I ain't gonna lie to you. The song selection gotta be on point. The performer selection gotta be on point. This was the first year where I was like, some of these guys in the beginning, like at 4 p.m., they not really on. Like, the timing was all off. Why do you have like a good guy at Vise and Vaughn going on at 6? Polo G going on at like 6 and so, whatever. And you got these random people that nobody really fuck with coming on at the same times. Like, them boys should have been the ones going on that 4. Like, damn. It is what it is, though. It is what it is, though. It is what it is. It is what it is. I told my tell those for me. All right, chat. I'm gonna stay on here for one more hour, right? And then we're gonna. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about Future. Future did great too. Future always does great. Future always does great. That's nothing new. If there's one thing I wish I would have seen more, usually there'll be a lot more like pop outs. There wasn't that much pop outs. We didn't have like a Kanye West come out, but how many years can you have Kanye West come out? Like, let's be serious. That was unbelievable. Kanye West coming to Rolling Loud was crazy. Crazy. Beyond crazy. Talk about something I never thought would have happened. But yeah, that shit happened. Hopefully, when Kanye's dropping another album. Oh, yeah, y'all heard about this? They killed this nigga with an e-bike.
A few things here at the top, and then we'll get right to your questions. I mentioned it briefly yesterday at the off-camera briefing, so I'd like...
They put an electric scooter by his job and blew that shit to pieces. Kapuya. Russian general. Hold on, let me find the freaking story. Yeah, chat. I'm so sick, bro. I'm only gonna be able to do one more hour, man. This shit is crazy. Okay, Okay, wait. Is this it? Okay, there we go. Yeah, once people hear that, that's it. I told that hoe to
Some
go.
breaking news
Tell
out of
her
Moscow,
me.
where a bomb hidden in an electric scooter has killed a senior Russian general. That's according to Russia.
Like, damn, I thought Playboy Cardi was gonna bring out Uzi though. I thought that was gonna happen. That's the only thing that was missing this year. There needed to be more surprises. Uzi popping out with Playboy. That would have been lit. I'm telling you, man. When I be going to Rolling Loud, though, it remind me how much we miss XXX and how much we miss Juice WRLD. It's just not the same without them boys. And Young Dolph. And Young Thug. It hasn't been the same without them boys, man. And now Dirk gone too. This shit is never gonna be the same again, fam. I'm sorry, chat. It's never gonna be the same again. We're gonna have to make the best of what we can. Shh.
Russia's investigative committee. The blast on Monday morning took place outside of an apartment block a few kilometers from the Kremlin. Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov and an assistant were killed. Kirillov was the head of Russia's nuclear, biological and chemical protection forces. Ukraine's security services just yesterday charged Kirillov with using banned chemical weapons during Russia's war efforts. Moscow authorities say a criminal investigation into the apparent killing has been opened.
Yesterday, a top Russian general was
Sorry for the coughing and this thing, man. That shit. I'm up right now. I took an Advil. Bro, chat, I've been under the freaking, sweating under the freaking bed sheets all day, bro. Like, this morning it was horrible, bro. It was horrible. But the good thing about me is I am the king of 24-hour flus. The king of 24-hour flus. Matter of fact, if it lasts more than 48 hours, I say, goddamn, dude, we must be must be gonna die, because that's the only way I can see it lasting longer than that. But I'm the king of 24-hour flus, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I think we're gonna beat this one in record timing, because I did not expect it to be streaming. I've been sick since yesterday. No, I wasn't sick. I was sick since this morning, but I had an inkling that I may be getting sick yesterday.
while he was getting out of his apartment to go to his office.
Right, yeah. So listen to this story.
Russian general. That's according to Russia's investigative committee. The blast on Monday morning took place outside of an apartment block a few kilometers from the Kremlin. Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov and an assistant were killed. Kirillov was the head of Russia's nuclear, biological and chemical protection forces. Ukraine's security services just yesterday charged Kirillov with using banned chemical weapons during Russia's war efforts. Moscow authorities say a criminal investigation into the apparent killing has been opened.
Yesterday, a top Russian general was eliminated while he was getting out of his apartment to go to his office. Best of all, we have this on footage. Now, of course, I can't show you the whole thing because YouTube has a habit of restricting our videos. In fact, just yesterday, we had a video get restricted and demonetized. But here's the footage I can show you. Before that, be sure to hit the like button down below. It helps us out tremendously. And here's the footage. Now, as you guys just saw, two people walked out of an apartment building. One of them was the Russian Armed Forces Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov, and the other one was his driver. The explosion happened at 6 a.m., the same time the general goes to his office every single day. In fact, this apartment building was just 7 kilometers or roughly 4 miles from Kremlin. So that means that Ukraine was able to eliminate one of the top generals in the Russian army just few kilometers from Kremlin, the heart of the Russian government. Now, the reason behind this explosion was a scooter. In fact, an IED that was placed inside an electric scooter. According to the Russian Investigative Committee, the IED was placed in the handle of an electric scooter which was parked at the entrance of the building. Around 200 grams of TNT were detonated remotely, causing the explosion. Now, of course, the fact that Ukraine was able to carry this out in the heart of Russia is crazy enough. But the main reason this is such a big news is because just a day earlier, the SBU, the Ukrainian Security Services, charged this general for being responsible for mass use of banned chemical weapons against Ukraine. Well, I guess the justice came pretty quick since there was no trial, and just one day after being charged in Ukraine, the general was eliminated in Moscow. Here's a little bit more details about how he was involved in this war in Ukraine.
On this particular one, it was a very good targeting approach because this individual is in charge of what's called the NBC capability of Russia, nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons. Russia has used chemical weapons inside of Ukraine. They've used a type of what's called CF gas or chlorine type of gas to basically affect soldiers on the front line. And that's in violation of both the Geneva Convention and the law of land warfare. So in absentia, the courts in Ukraine has held this individual, Colonel General Kirillov, a 3-star general, as a war criminal. So this was a targeted attack on him to kill him.
Now, soon after the news of the assassination came out with the footage, a source in the Ukrainian Security Services actually claimed responsibility for this anonymously. He told the media that Ukraine was behind this attack, which is in fact a rare occurrence that has happened. Now, ever since Russia launched its invasion back in February 2022, Ukraine has been taking out generals and important figures in the Russian war machine in Russia and on the front lines. But this is the first time something like this happened so close to Kremlin, and first time someone from the Ukrainian Security Services confirmed that Ukraine was behind it so quickly. So this sends another message to Russia and more importantly to Putin. Only 5 days ago, leading Russian missile scientist Michel Shashky was shot dead in a forest outside Moscow. In this case, Ukraine didn't really claim responsibility, but it's easy to see why Ukraine might have been involved in this assassination too. Shashky was responsible for modernizing Russia's cruise missiles, and he was also in process of building a new type of cruise missile for the Russian military. And just a few days after that, Ukraine carried out this attack that we talked about, and this happened in the middle of Moscow, just a few kilometers outside Kremlin. This means that Ukraine is sending a message that they are everywhere and no Russian generals, even if they are not on the front line, is not safe. Now, of course, targeting generals in any army is a big deal, and especially if they're able to successfully eliminate them. But the way the Russian military is organized and how important the generals are in this military, where Russia is hiring 1,000 new conscripts every single day. That means a lot of new recruits are coming into the military that these generals are responsible for. This means that these targeted assassinations of Russian generals is having an even bigger impact than most militaries. And here's former US General Ben Hodges explaining this exact point in much more detail.
So the Russian system has always been very top-down, centralized command and control. When you have large mass armies, you need very strong central control. And so when you start taking out leadership, like the Ukrainians are doing against the Russians, that has a serious degrading effect on the ability of Russian units to do things. So this is a logical target. And, you know, General Cavoli, the Supreme Allied Commander, I listened to him a while back say that you can defeat mass, which is Russia's only real advantage, if you have precision and enough time. And with precision, you can knock out headquarters as well as logistics and artillery. When you knock out the headquarters, it makes it difficult to employ that mass to coordinate fires, to coordinate the logistics, etc. So these targeted attacks are part of that. But I think it also has a psychological impact that these commanders who are responsible for ordering strikes against civilian targets, for example, or who are responsible for the over units that are executing Ukrainian prisoners, they're not untouchable, that they can be tracked down at home, wherever they are, and which is kind of kind of what the Mossad does. And so I think Ukraine will continue to do things like this, both from a practical standpoint of degrading Russian command and control capability, but also psychologically letting these guys know that they are not untouchable.
Now, as General Hodges explained almost a month ago, the same point stands today. There's a psychological effect behind this, and another reason Ukraine is targeting these generals is because of the war crimes they're committing inside Ukraine against Ukrainian civilians. Now, as we talked earlier, this general that was just assassinated, Igor Krivlov, he was responsible for carrying out mass chemical attacks against Ukrainian civilians and Ukrainian soldiers, which is in fact against the Geneva Convention and is a war crime. But on top of this, what makes this situation a bit more ironic is he's the person who was the source behind the conspiracy theory that claims that US has biolabs inside Ukraine and all over Africa. Basically, this is a prime example of blame the other side of what you're doing. So Russia is using chemical weapons inside Ukraine, but they've been blaming US that US has biolabs inside Ukraine to attack Russia.
All right. Just wanted to get, like, they killed that nigga with a e-scooter. They put a bomb in an electric bike and blew that shit up. I knew they could do that. Y'all know I knew they could do that. Just hope they don't do it to me. Yeah, my bad again, chat, about how I sound. I know it's gonna sound horrible, sniffing and all that stuff. This is why I'm only gonna be here for about an hour and a half. Then I'll be back tomorrow morning to stream again, so hopefully I'm feeling better. Alright, let's see what's been going on today.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
So, I've had the privilege of interacting with a lot of government organizations over the past few years as I've been digging down this rabbit hole. Law enforcement at a federal level, DOD, executive branch, legislative branch, and some of the folks that I've come in contact with, they specifically work on weapons of mass destruction. Okay, so that's their job. So if there's a loose nuke in the United States, among other agencies, they would be some of the people that would be sitting in a skiff for 24 hours a day trying to figure out where it is and to go get it, right? So you can imagine that would be their number one priority, right? So I engage with these folks. I ask them, what's the sense here? People are kind of starting to panic a little bit, and this message is getting out there more and more broadly. And they assured me that's not the case, that there is not a loose nuke or other type of weapon of mass destruction that these objects, whatever they are pursuing right now. Otherwise, they would be working in a skiff nonstop to make that go away, that problem go away. So, that's part of why I have a high confidence level that this is not a response to a massive imminent, weapons of mass destruction threat on the eastern seaboard. So I just want to try to dispel that rumor right now. I've seen a lot of talk of that online. And I don't, although this is I think a dangerous and scary situation that's going on right now, at least from that particular angle, that's not the indications I'm receiving.
So how would they persuaded you? Just by saying that's not the case? Or have they given you any information that leads to this conclusion? Like,
they would be the people actively working it, essentially, right? So,
and they're not
working it, right? So either the government is holding back that secret from the direct resources within the government that are responsible for finding these systems, or they're not working the issue because there isn't an issue there to work.
So the thing that I had heard was that it was a missing nuke from Ukraine. And if that was the case, what could they do? Is there any truth to this idea that we have the type of drone capability that we could send these things out and they would search for gamma radiation and they'd be able to find a nuke? Is that?
So there are teams that respond to those types of potential emergencies, typically within the Department of Energy. Having potentially hundreds of drones flying around trying to identify these isn't necessarily the best way. Gamma radiation is typically well shielded in weapons, and at very high altitudes or even moderate altitudes, like we're seeing these objects, it would be pretty difficult to detect them. And the way that NIST, the DOE, typically operates in this environment is ground-based teams searching for radiation itself. So it's not necessarily consistent with how they would do it to begin with. And then based off of that other information, that's what leads me to believe that's not the case.
Well, that makes me feel better because I was freaking out this weekend.
I think a lot of people were.
Yeah, I got a couple. But it's one of those things, especially in this day and age with social media. There's so many narratives that get spread and retweeted. And, I know a guy who's an insider and he says to get out of the East Coast and, head for Nevada or, there's a lot of that shit going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different versions of these drones, and this is what's weird. If they weren't ours, if they're not ours, you would think that they could just track them and find out, well, where are they landing, who's got them, how are they being used, is it RFI, like radio frequency, is it some sort of a different technology that's allowing them to pilot these things, like what is it?
Yeah.
They'd be able to tune into that and figure it out, right? So how come no one's been arrested? How come no one's been caught? How come they haven't, tracked these things down to the source?
Yeah, so there's a lot of good questions there. Let me back up by starting with the fact that this started about 2 years ago, at least. So
but not like this.
A little bit like this.
Really?
So,
in this volume?
not in this volume. That's the differentiator right there. But so Langley Air Force Base, you might be familiar with the fact that they had drone incursions of an unknown type, unknown origin last year.
Right.
That happened during about a 2.5, 3 week period right before Christmas. Right where we are now. That also happened the year before over Langley. Unknown objects operating over the base. They couldn't tell where they were going. They were unprepared for them. Same period of time, 2-3 weeks before Christmas. This is year 3, right? And they were expecting them to come again for third year in a row over Langley. And there was, some effort put forward to be able to better understand these when they came back. And they did come back, but they came back in a much wider swath, right? Now we have them all over New Jersey, all the way up to Massachusetts. And it's hard to tell exactly with the quality of the reporting right now because it seems to be, the bigger the story gets, the more people are just looking up and seeing anything and pointing it out. But there are reports from Texas to Florida to California, Ohio, Minnesota, Pennsylvania. I mean, it's not just New Jersey itself, it seems. And even the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base was shut down for a drone incursion just this last Friday, a couple of days ago. So this isn't just a one-off event. It is in the sense that it's so large and so many people are paying attention to it. But this has been occurring for at least 3 years around military bases, and that's nothing to say with the incidents that we were seeing over the Eastern Seaboard and other training ranges that fighter pilots were seeing as they were doing their operations. So I'm a little hesitant to link it to the full story that we've been having here, this full conversation, but at least for 3 years this has been occurring. So, kind of getting back to your question, why can't we do more about it? It's a hard problem, I think, for a number of reasons. It's hard, but it's very solvable, right? I think this can be solved. We can solve it. But right now, kind of the word on the street is that these objects appear to be coming from over the ocean. There's senior congressmen, there's Coast Guard personnel, there's law enforcement. They're seeing a large number of these come from somewhere over the ocean. I don't know if that means necessarily they're popping out of the water physically or if they're coming from some unknown location in the water and then proceeding over the coast. I don't know how that relates to Ohio. That's a pretty long trip if they are coming over the ocean. And from the videos I've seen and the conversation I've had, they are detecting these objects through kind of normal mechanisms like radar systems, optical camera systems. They are flying very low. In some cases, they seem to be operating as a group. in the vicinity of each other, flying past each other, flying very up close to each other, and then proceeding to do whatever they are that they're doing. It's an unknown right now if they are emitting energy or not. So, like radio communications or their own maybe active sensor systems. It's unknown. I've poked on that front, and the best I can tell, the government doesn't know either.
That seems so weird that they don't know that. Like, it's just very disturbing that someone could operate these things and have, I mean, how many, what is the estimated number of them?
That's a great question. I mean, at this point, I'm comfortable making a guess of probably over 800 or 1,000. And how many of those are sightings of the same object? How many of those are individual objects? How many of those are unique objects that?
Right.
So it's tough to say, but this isn't just a few objects that people are seeing. And so I can imagine some technologies that will allow traditional UAVs or drones to operate without emitting, right? So they could be, they could have a self-contained navigational system, right? Maybe they have their own onboard maps and they're using cameras to map where they are.
So then they would be completely autonomous. You just.
Developing overnight, a member of the House Intelligence Committee told CNN that based on the briefing that he'd received, the drones that people say.
Powell seems like he might be getting in trouble today. Let's see why.
Is pissed. Holy smokers, the market is pissed. Which is weird because Jerome Powell literally just declared, quote, "It's pretty clear we've avoided a recession." You'd think the market would rally on that, but instead, this is what the market did. The Nasdaq decided to start tanking by 2%. Bitcoin decided to sell off by about 2,000. Tesla decided to sell off by about 6.5%. What the HE double hockey sticks is going on? Jay Powell basically just declared victory. He literally said, "We've avoided a recession." Now, in fairness, he did say the Fed's not allowed to own Bitcoin, and we're not looking to change that law to have a strategic Bitcoin reserve, but that frankly came out of nowhere anywhere. We did hear Jerome Powell tell us that inflation is just a technical issue, that we're really in a good place, and that he, quote, feels good, and he expects another good year. So I'm kind of curious, is the market pulling an inverse Kramer on Powell? Jay Powell goes, "No recession. I expect another good year. Things are great." Ding! And the market just tanks? What's happening? Because Powell certainly doesn't seem concerned about inflation, even though his committee members seem pretty concerned about inflation to where they're only projecting 50 basis points of cuts in 25 and another 50 basis points of cuts in 2026, which basically is a whole chunk slower than what we were previously expecting. We thought we'd get 4 cuts next year. We're down to 2. That's it. It's a lot slower. And a lot of folks were actually thinking we'd get even more cuts in 2025 as the economy slows. So what gives? You got Jay Powell saying inflation's just a technical issue. You've got rate cuts getting slowed down. Is there some kind of warning that Powell gave us here that's starting to freak markets out? Well, I think the answer to this is yes. Now, I'm going to preface this because I saved this particular spot. But I want to preface this by saying that Jay Powell was not overly concerned at this point that the labor market is having major issues. But he did say some things that made some people sort of scratch their heads a little bit. And I think it's worth playing that clip. As long as I can keep this clip and not screw it up, let's see if I can do this correctly. Listen to this clip here. He does later suggest that this isn't a big deal, but just listen to the hints in this portion. Hopefully, again, I was able to save this live at the right time. I think this is why markets really started selling off, so I hate to kind of leave you hanging on that. But this is what he said. He said, "The downside risks to the labor market appear to have diminished, but it's cooling further in a gradual and orderly way. We don't think we need any further cooling. It's softer, the labor market is softer than before the pandemic. That's not good, right? job creation is well below the level that would keep the unemployment rate constant. In other words, things are worse in the labor market than they were in 2019, and the unemployment rate will probably keep trending up a little bit. Surveys are showing a much cooler labor market now than they were showing in 2019. Now, he does say that things are still gradually...
All right, chat. I'm going to get out of here. Turns out my body's still too weak.
What's up, Graham? It's Guys here. We got.
Let's watch some Jerome Powell, then I'm going to get out of here. Thank y'all for watching Stay Woke TV. I'm your host, DJ Grimlock. This is Stay Woke TV. Y'all boys stay woke out there.
Good afternoon. My colleagues and I remain squarely focused on achieving our dual mandate goals of maximum employment and stable prices for the benefit of the American people.
I'm sorry I'm sick, so I haven't been streaming that much, but I'm back. Tomorrow morning, we back. Sick or not, I will be streaming 8 hours plus.
The economy is strong overall and has made significant progress toward our goals over the past 2 years. The labor market has cooled from its formerly overheated state and remains solid. Inflation has moved much closer to our 2% longer run goal. We're committed to maintaining our economy's strength by supporting maximum employment and returning inflation to our 2% goal. To that end, today, the Federal Open Market Committee decided to take another step in reducing the degree of policy restraint by lowering our policy interest rate by a 1/4 percentage point. We also decided to continue to reduce our securities holdings. I'll have more to say about monetary policy after briefly reviewing economic developments. Recent indicators suggest that economic activity has continued to expand at a solid pace. GDP rose at an annual rate of 2.8% in the third quarter, about the same pace as in the second quarter. Growth of consumer spending has remained resilient, and investment in equipment and intangibles has strengthened. In contrast, activity in the housing sector has been weak. Overall, improving supply conditions have supported the strong performance of the U.S. economy over the past year. In our summary of economic projections, committee participants generally expect GDP growth to remain solid, with a median projection of about 2% over the next few years. In the labor market, conditions remain solid. Payroll job gains have slowed from earlier in the year, averaging 173,000 per month over the past 3 months.
Oh, no, wait, Tom, man. There's no more jobs out here.
The unemployment rate is higher than it was a year ago, but at 4.2% in November, it has remained low. Nominal wage growth has eased over the past year, and the jobs-to-workers gap has narrowed. Overall, a broad set of indicators suggests that conditions in the labor market are now less tight than in 2019. The labor market is not a source of significant inflationary pressures. The median projection for the unemployment rate in the SEP is 4.2% at the end of this year and 4.3% over the next few years. Inflation has eased significantly over the past 2 years, but remains somewhat elevated relative to our 2% longer run goal. Estimates based on the Consumer Price Index and other data indicate that total PCE prices rose 2.5% over the 12 months ending in November, and that, excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 2.8%. Longer-term inflation expectations appear to remain well anchored, as reflected in a broad range of surveys of households, businesses, and forecasters, as well as measures from financial markets. The median projection in the SEP for total PCE inflation is 2.4% this year and 2.5% next year, somewhat higher than projected in September. Thereafter, the median projection falls to our 2% objective. Our monetary policy actions are guided by our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. We see the risks to achieving our employment and inflation goals as being roughly in balance, and we are attentive to the risks on both sides of our mandate. At today's meeting, the committee decided to lower the target range for the federal funds rate by a 1/4 percentage point to 4.25% to 4.5%. we've been moving policy toward a more neutral setting.
My mission
All right.
is simple.
Just wanted to get
make you money. I'm here to level the playing field
kind of
for
messed
all
up.
investors.
He dang well
There's
said we have a
always
problem
bull
with
market
jobs.
somewhere, and I promise to help you find it.
Chad, let me go to
When
sleep.
money starts-
As you can see, I don't even feel good. I feel like I'm gonna throw up already. So let me just try to get my body back so I can stream. I'm sorry that we missed 3 days or 7 days, whatever. But we're gonna get back to it. Let me go to take a nap. I'll be back in probably 2 hours. Thank y'all. Hit that like, follow, subscribe. I'm out of here, man. I'll see y'all boys and I'll see y'all. I'm gonna see y'all. Let's stream at like 8 a.m. and then I'm back. That's the I'm back stream.